So this video is going to be a little different because up until now, I've only spoken about football on my channel, about Man United, and I've only made about 3 posts. I'm very inconsistent with that. Probably need to change it out the next season. This video is about gaming. It's about Marvel Rivals. So yesterday, before I went to bed, I watched Flat's response to Light's criticism of him and of Marvel Rivals and of the balancing of the game. And I'm going to speak as a diamond player. I'm not any good, right? I'm not any good. And I'm going to basically say what Flat said, but also try and see if there's a new perspective that people don't understand when they think about the game for the average player. And being diamond is like the perfect middle average, I would say. Diamond, plat, GM, gold, and gold to GM basically. It's like where I believe gold is where you you probably start to understand what the game should be like, but you have no mechanical skill to actually bring that into fruition. Plat is about the same, but just a little better mechanical skill. Diamond is where you are like average on both ends. Like you understand the game strategically, in an average way, and you also have an average mechanical skill, right? And then GM is where you're a little bit better than average, right? Although, if we spoke of this in terms of the number, it wouldn't be like that. It would be that anything above plat is higher than average, right? Because I'm diamond one, and when I got to diamond one, I got you're better than 90% of player base, right? A diamond one. So I feel like there's a large disconnect between a player in Celestial, and even a player in GM to plat to gold, right? There's a large disconnect as to what balancing should look like. I'm here to sit down and to say that because of the way some of these characters are designed, it makes no sense to balance this game to the taste of pro players. I'm sorry to say it, but this is how I genuinely feel, and I'm going to give reasons why I feel like that, right? It makes no sense to balance this game because of the way some characters are designed to the level of pro players. Okay. And two characters I'm gonna call out to make my point here is BP Spider-Man. Okay? BP Spider-Man. If BP was good enough to be meta in pro play, 90% of this game's player base would quit the game immediately. Like just immediately. If BP was the only reason this game survived Daredevil was that Daredevil had a better and higher skill ceiling to play. Like if Daredevil, when Daredevil came out, was as easy to play as BP, bro, I don't think this game would have survived. I'm just saying the truth. You can call me low skill, you can call all of us low skill. And many people will watch this video, not being diamond, by the way, and still try to protect the pros or side with the pros or, act like, the pros are right? Or act like we should balance top down, like whatever, right? Like you can choose to be who you are and not have any sort of self-awareness. I have self-awareness. And I'm saying this, if BP ever got to the level where even OAA players are scared of this guy, right? If he ever got to that level, I would quit the game immediately. I'm not here to act like, I'm some guy that's like the best player in the game. No, I'm here to say the truth. Like I've said my level. I'm Diamond 1, right? I would quit the game. Okay. And I'm sure there's many of us who might be sitting here, maybe not understanding why I'm saying that. And I'll give you a quick understanding. BP has 2 stabs and 2 dashes, right? Stab dash out, right? The animation for his stab and dashes, his dashes especially, are so fast that unless you're actually good at aiming, like good at aiming, you can't track it. Okay? You can't track it. Now, say BP's stab had 60 damage or 55 damage, like a Phoenix shot. It's like 50 damage or something like that, right? 50 or 60 damage, something like that, right? Or like full, if you get a full pellet of Star-Lord straight to your head, it's like 80 damage, right? Let's say we gave BP's stab 80 damage. And I'm a 270, 250 or 270 support, right? So one stab, and I'm already down to like 190, 180. 2 dashes, and I'm dead, right? And you are able to flank properly that I don't see you coming, right? I don't watch the angle, I don't see you coming, right? That is not enjoyable to anybody. Okay, like I don't care that you might be a better player and you are able to maybe track the BP. Of course you are, but it's still not enjoyable. Like I've seen Saipe, probably one of the best supports in the entire world, ban Magic and and Spider-Man. Not because he can't aim at them, not because he can't stand like fight them, but because it's just fucking annoying to play against the character that moves at Mach 12 speed. Like it's so annoying to play against the character that moves so fast. You just die before you see it coming. A good example of this is Jinx's death, where he goes against Kingsman, right? Like he doesn't even know what's happening. Like you just go instantly, right? So who wants to play that? Nobody. Nobody wants to play that. You can say, "Oh, get good at the game," but what you're asking me to get good at the game is at aiming, at my mechanics, right? If everyone got good at, you know, the mechanical side of the game, then it would only reinforce that the mechanical side of the game is stronger. Like at that point, you try the same scenario would happen, but you wouldn't get a kill because I saw you coming from a mile off and I just popped you off, right? So nothing's gonna change other than the fact that for 90% of us, we can't react, but you can, right? And you can kill it. So what changes then as a pro player? What changes for you? Maybe you have maybe a 10 more percent chance of actually killing the backline when you dive with BP, maybe. But other than that, nothing's actually changed. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Is that the mechanics? If the mechanic skill is high enough, dive doesn't work anyways. So what's the point? Like what's the point? Like if I am fucking Otter, for example, and there's a Spider-Man trying to dive me, he dies before he touches me. I'm dead serious. But for 90% of the rest of us, I can't fucking track Spider-Man. Like we can't track Spider-Man. Right? Like what we can't track Spider-Man. Spider-Man's moving so quickly across your screen, you can't track him. Right? The only time you can stop a good Spider-Man is when he has no cooldowns. When he has no cooldown. And what good Spider-Mans will do is they'll wait for their cooldowns. Why bait in your own cooldown to support, right? It's just common sense. And we have seen Spider-Man be number one in this game. Like ranked number one player in the world playing Spider-Man. Right? So I don't get where the point is where people say there's a poke slop or there's I don't get it because for 90% of the player base, you could pick anything and rank to Celestial. Anything. And that is the point of a balanced game. A balanced game is supposed to make it possible for you to play any character in the world and get to the top of the game, right? It should be possible for you to play Scarlet Witch, for you to play Magic, for you to play whatever, and get to Celestial. I don't care about Eternity and One Above All, because when you're in those ranks, you're not like you are above the high ranks of the game. You are above the highest rank of the game. The true highest rank of the game is Celestial. Everything above Celestial is for basically gods. Like people who probably have 100 hours to spend on this game or something, right? Anything above Celestial is at that point you're like, you know, you're better than 98, 99% of the game. So why as you if you sit there and think of the game as a business product, right? Why as a businessman would you cater your product to 1% of your consumer base, right? Because that's what we are as gamers, as people who play this game. We're the consumer base of this product, right? So why would you cater your product to 1% of your consumer base when 90% when you know that 90% of that base will not enjoy the game, right? Will not enjoy your product. If this game goes hard dive meta for more than 3 months, it will have a tank. It will have a drop in the player counts, like in the player numbers. Massive drop. If there's a hard dive meta for more than 3 months in this game, there will be a massive drop. And the developers know that. Like they know that. That's why they nerfed. They had no problems nerfing Black Cat to the ground because she was obscene. She was obscene. She was untrackable. Like even for pro players. Like I watched J3. J3 is an Eternity player, right? J3 when Black Cat first came out would complain so much about the iframes because she just got out like and get out kill, no repercussions whatsoever, right? Like I know there's a level between J3 and an OAA player, but for me there's not. There's not, because what J3 does on a normal day is beyond me. Like what Kingsman does on a normal day is beyond me. What you guys are doing on a normal day is beyond 90% of the player base. So why do you expect that a business should cater to 1% of a player base? When they've already done their job, they've made it so that every character is good enough to be played up to Celestial. Anything above Celestial, I don't think the devs should matter to the devs. Honestly, like anything above Celestial should not matter to the devs. Because at that point, you're not a normal person, right? I know you're normal, but like I'm saying, you're not normal in the sense that you're cracked, right? You could basically play anything and make it look OP to me, right? You're cracked. That's like if there's a Celestial player and they say, okay, I want to create a new account to learn how to play BP, right? They would get from bronze back to Celestial in no time. You're cracked. Like you're cracked. There's no other way for me to put it. You're cracked. Okay? For the rest of us, I'm talking GM downwards. Like the game is balanced. I'm sorry, but the game is balanced. The game is balanced. And another thing with this game is different characters are there for the exact reason I just stated. Like people like they made these characters so that you could pick any of them to get to Celestial. And these different characters are there for that reason. For you to have fun for that reason. So if you log onto the game and your aim is completely terrible, you could go Rocket, you could go Scarlet Witch, you could go Thin, right? You could go like you could go. There's these characters are there for you, and if you log onto the game and you are a mechanical god, you're like Otter or something, and you can play basically everything, right? You just go Phoenix or go Cyclops, right? And you'd be one above all in 2 days. Because the game rewards mechanical skill, because the game knows that a high percentage of the player base don't have the mechanical skill. And I think there's also like a disconnect between the PC player and the controller player. It's because controller players don't think poke is insane. We don't. I don't think poke is insane. Because how many controller players are that great at poke, like at playing poke characters? Not many. We still play Moon Knight, like for fuck's sakes. Do you get what I'm trying to say here? Like we still play Moon Knight up until GM. Like, Moon Knight is still a very high picked character. Magic is still a very high picked character on console up until Celestial. Why? Because we're not here sitting down trying to aim. Because it's much difficult to aim on a controller than it is to aim with a mouse, right? And the mouse players think it must like this game must be easier, right? I just aim, right? This game caters too much to poke, whereas if a controller player played the game, the controller player thinks, well, I don't, I don't really think so. I think everything is pretty strong because aiming is that much more difficult on controller. Sorry to say, but it is, right? So I feel like there's a disconnect, right? I don't know if many other diamond players would agree with me, but as a diamond player, as a plat player, as a gold player, I've been GM3 before, I've been GM2. As a GM player, I I think this game is balanced for you. And I think that is what the devs want. Okay? The devs want us to come on the game, pick a character that is easy for us to play, and play that character until we hit Celestia, right? And again, I would like to say that this game isn't competitive. Like it's not meant to be competitive. It's meant to be fun, right? And the way you know that it's meant to be fun is if you try to learn a new character on QP on quick play, you're just deceiving yourself. To be honest, you're deceiving yourself because quick play is brain rot, right? Quick play can't help you improve. So you're supposed to pick that character and play it in ranked, right? If you want to learn a new character, you're supposed to pick it and play it in ranked, right? So if ranked is sure it's a way to measure your skill, but it's also a place to learn. And there's no competitive game would mix that in ranked. It would mix that two nomenclatures, that two ideas to ranked. But this game is not supposed to be that, right? It's supposed to be a very, you know, fun game. And I want it to stay a fun game. I don't want it to become whatever the pros want it to be. I want it to be a very fun game. And I agree with Flats that I know that everything that I've said here sounds like it makes sense to me, obviously. But then there's going to be someone else, even in Diamond, that thinks I'm just bullshit. Like it's facts. Like that is the fact of the matter. Like that is true. Like it is completely subjective, right? And the way I love to think about this, the mentality that I would love for pro players to have is the trust me mentality, right? Where you realize the balancing is not for you. Like Light was in that podcast that I watched, by the way, where Trust Me was speaking about this, where he said, I would play whatever is meta. Like I am a pro player. I am there to create the meta. Like I am there to test things out, play whatever that is released, and to test things out and see what is the meta, right? I am there to create the meta. I will play whatever is good. And that's the mentality you should have as a pro player. Because this game has like 50 characters, granted about 30 of them are DPS, whatever, right? This game has about 50 characters, right? And some of them are situational, some of them are good, are always good, some of them are dog shit at pro level. At pro level, right? The point of the pro scene is to show me why DD is good or DD is bad. Okay? Because as a go-to diamond player, every DD that I run into is bombs. It doesn't mean that DD is bad. You should show me why DD is good. You should show me why the meta is poke. And then it is my decision whether to play that or not. And a lot of the times, I think it's the wrong decision to go into the game and go play ranked the way pros play. It makes no sense. Why does it make no sense? Because when you're in gold and you are in a rank where almost nobody can aim, where you're in a rank where nobody can aim realistically well, even in diamond, why are you picking Phoenix over Moon Knight? Right? Why are you doing that? Why are you picking Cyclops over Moon Knight? Right? Why are you picking any character over Magic? Like Magic is the best to play for someone who's playing on a controller in Diamond, in Plat, in GM, heck, even in Celestial. Play Magic. What the fuck are you talking about? Magic is strong on console. Right? Like she has about 50% win rate on all ranks on console. She's strong on console. Like play hard. Don't play what the pros are playing. Like don't play that. Play what's good for you on your rank. And I think this is something that people don't think about a lot. Like they up into ranks and they try to play the game the way pros play it. It's not good. It makes no sense. And then to my point, to the point about the same characters being meta all the time in pro play, I think that's a big fat lie. And for Light as a pro player to say that is astonishing to me. Like, what do you mean? Like we've had a Hawk meta, not it wasn't hard meta, but there were teams that were playing Hawk and people were scared of them playing Hawk. Like when Cats plays Hawk, everybody's like, the fuck, I don't want Hawk to be this good at my level, right? When Cats plays Hawk, everyone is going crazy. Hawk is meta. Hawk is playable in pro. The way I define meta is if a pro player could pick a character in a pro game to try to genuinely win or change the outcome of the game, that character is meta. Why? Because you guys are cracked. Like pro players are cracked. If you played the same way you played in a pro game in my lobbies, I would cry my eyes out, right? That's why we have rank. That's why I'm not in your rank. That's why I don't want to be in your rank. Okay? Because I don't have the skill to be there, right? So if a pro player could genuinely play a character in a pro game to try and win or change the outcome of the game, then that character is meta. Like that, then that character. I'm not saying that. Oh, they just did it for fun. Like when Terra switches to Iron Fist to joke around, right? When Terra is playing the game for real and he's trying to win the game and he's playing Bucky. He played Bucky just last season, right? And he's playing um Elsa Bloodstone, right? And he's playing even BP sometimes. Like there was a point in this game. I remember this game very clearly. There was a game that when Terra was still in 100 Thieves and Terra swapped to BP because they were doing so poorly. They were trying to I know this game was in the Castlevania themed map, the Dracula map, right? And the Convergence map, and they were trying to like get to third point, and they've been held back for so long. And Terra swapped BP, and I remember in that season how everyone hated Dive, how every support was like, "This Dive is crazy." And I'm like, of course it's crazy. If Terra could play BP successfully in that situation, right? To turn the game around and to win where he does the Wakanda emote. Are you kidding me? Of course, everybody from GM down is crying their eyes out for BP to get nerfed immediately. Why? Why? Because I wouldn't be able to stop a good BP if he was that good. If it was good enough for Terra to play him in that situation. Of course. And the devs who make this game, they know that. Like they know that. And they're like, okay, well, we're just gonna make BP good enough to climb, but you have to be extremely good. You have to be Terra good at BP to climb. And that makes sense. Right? Because if you're Terra good at BP, you play 3 games and you're out of diamond. And you're no longer my problem, right? You now become the problem of people with actual good aim to kill the BP. Right? And that's why when you're a diamond player, you don't see that much BP or that much Spider-Man in your lobbies. Because all the Spider-Men that are good enough to terrorize you are out of your rank. Right? They're out of your rank. They're gone. That's why you don't see much magic in your rank. Not because the character is shit. It's because all the good characters, all the good players of that character, they're out of your rank. They're out. And then they get to maybe GM1 Celestial, and then they no longer are able to play the character. And they think, huh, this game sucks. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's done the job. It's brought you to the high rank. And now players are able to aim and they just shoot you off. What do you want? What do you want the devs to do about that? If you want to get out of that, then play something else. Play one of the poke characters. Because I'm telling you now, if this game catered to making a dive meta for 3 seasons, for 3 months, the player base will sink immediately. And this is me being truthful and honest, right? The player base would sink immediately. That's my take on it. And also saying that the meta in pro play has been the same is a lie. Like I don't get where we get this from. There's been Loki Luna meta as support meta. There's been Luna Rocket meta, which is the current meta, and also season 1 meta. There's been um Cloak Loki meta. There's been Gambit Loki meta. Gambit is still meta, but Gambit's problem is that the kit is too strong, not that the character is not balanced. The neutral play of Gambit isn't so bad. It's the kit, the alt kit is too strong. Okay, and they might have to rework that. Sure. Okay, I give everybody agrees on Gambit, right? There's the Gambit meta, Gambit Loki meta. So that's 4 different support metas that I've gone through, right? DPS meta. We've had the Daredevil Bucky meta. We've had the Daredevil Phoenix meta. We've had the Bucky Punisher meta. We've had what other meta have we had? We've had the Iron Man meta. We've had the Torch meta. We've had the Moon Knight Storm tree support break meta, right? Where teams would go triple support and then they would play Moon Knight Storm to get their ult quick, kill them so that they can move on. That is a meta. Like, of course, it's, you wouldn't want to play that normally in a game, like, but that is a meta, right? If a team is playing triple support and you are able to play Moon Knight Storm and kill them as quick as possible, play. Don't be fucking stupid. Play. That's why it's in the game. Sure, that's also a meta. In terms of tank, we've had the Mag Emma meta, we've had the Mag Groot meta, we've had the tank pool Venom meta, tank pool Cap meta. What do you mean is the same players? Like, what do you mean is the same players that are getting played in high ranks? What do you mean? It's not. Like, I don't understand people saying it's the same players, the same characters. I mean, that are getting played in high rank. It's not. It's not. It's just not. We've had the what's his name? The Hawkeye meta, right? Where Hawkeye was super strong. What do you mean is the same characters are getting played in pro play? Like, I watch pro play. It's not. Now it's the Cyclops meta. It's the Cyclops meta. It's probably going to change when the next hero drops. And the reason the next hero is always good or releases in a good state is because it farms the hype for the game. It keeps the game, motivated, the gaming community motivated to come back and play the game. And Flash is right. If the devs wouldn't give us this much content, then maybe players wouldn't like the game as much. Because I like the content of the game, and the content of the game is part of the reason I keep coming back to the game. So I'm not going to sit here and ask them to not release content for a month or two. Like, please, why shouldn't they do that? Like, what do you mean? Like, this is a business, guys. Okay, this is a business. Why would the game be catered to 2% of the player base and not 90% of the player base? Why would you, as a businessman, cater to 2% of your consumers? Like, I'll give this very simple example. If you had a restaurant, right, and 2% of your customers liked really, salty food, just 2%, right? And then there's the other 98% or 97% that don't like it so much salty. Are you going to keep selling the salty food? Huh? Like, it's clear, very clear, the 90% of this player base doesn't want Dive to be strong. And you can argue or be annoyed or whatever about it, but it's the truth. I have as a Diamond 1 player, believe that for a majority of this game, we don't want Dive to be strong. We want Dive to be good enough to get to Celestial, but you have to be good enough at the character, And if you're good enough at the character, you just get out of my lobby as quickly as possible and go and play with those guys, right? And when you get there and they show you why it's not strong, don't complain that the game is not balanced, bro. Stop. You're annoying me. Don't complain that the game is not balanced. The game is not balanced for you. The game is not balanced to cater for those characters. It's not. Learn how to play Phoenix and Cyclops. Learn it. Like, don't stress me out. And also about the bit of the heals being too strong in the game, and maybe the heals need to be reduced. No, because if the heals are reduced, then the damage is reduced, then it starts to feel like Overwatch. And I don't like Overwatch at all. At all. I hate the game. I try to play the game, I hate it. I'm being serious. Like, I hate the game. Why? It's not fun. It's not fun when I'm shooting, when I'm rocket and I can't one clip, like I'm rocket and I can't one clip a Bucky. I love to play rocket and 1v1 a Bucky. It's not fun. It's not fun when you know what I'm saying? It's not fun for me. It's not fun. Right? It's not fun if I'm playing support, right? And I can't 1v1 a tank. I want to be able to 1v1 a tank. Obviously, the tank would win like 70% of the time, but I want to be able to win too. Like, I want to be able to have a realistic chance of shooting a Venom and killing him, right? As Rocket. Sorry, but I want to. Right? Now, I don't know. I don't know how to put this mildly, right? For the rest of us who want this game to be fun and not hyper competitive, the game is balanced, completely balanced. Like, the game is completely balanced. The reason a character like Iron Man is no longer good is two. There's so many poke characters, right? And the second reason is, if Iron Man dealt such high damage where he's actually good enough, because the only way to make Iron Man good enough is to buff his damage, right? If Iron Man dealt that high damage where he's actually good enough, he would be. He already is though, but it would be more insane for the middle rank players, for gold plat players. Like, nobody would want to play against Iron Man. It's the same problem we had with Touch. Right? Like, when Touch was hard meta, yes, he had skill to him, but for anyone, I do this, like, I do disagree with nerfing Touch so hard, because I felt like he was nerfed so much to the ground. But I don't disagree with Black Cat's nerf. Okay? Like, I don't disagree with Black Cat's nerf. The reason I don't disagree with Black Cat's nerf is iframe. Like, a character has iframes and they have shops to get, like, she has like 15 abilities, bro. Like, what do you mean? Like, it makes no sense. She's not the kit. Our entire kit is not balanced in the first place. So if our kit is not balanced and you make the character strong, like in terms of the output of the character, then that's not balanced character, right? So if the kit is so over, it's like the Gambit problem, but the problem isn't just the halts; it's the neutral play. Like, imagine if Gambit was oppressive in the neutral play and had the oppressive ult. That's Black Cat. That's what Black Cat was. She was oppressive in neutral play and she was oppressive in the ult. So they had to nerf the ult and nerf the neutral play, which is great. She's shit now. But if a Celestial player, if a one above all player, if an Eternity player picks Black Cat and decided to go bronze to Celestial, they'll do it in like 3 days. Simple. I'm just that's the honest truth. They'll do it in like 3 days. Why? Because dive characters are made so that good players on those characters can climb with them onto the top of the ladder. And when you get to the top of the ladder, then now you have to play meta. So when you're in Celestial 1 and you want to be OAA, now you have to play meta. Right? Because the players there are good enough, right? They're good enough to aim at a consistent level where they are close enough, they're not as good as pros, where they are close enough to pros, right? So they're close enough to pros where what pros play actually shape those lobbies. They actually do contribute to those lobbies. But for GM down to gold, because I don't count silver and bronze as ranked. Like, see, if to get out of silver and bronze, you don't need any skill. You just need strategic awareness. Like, pick Rocket, bro. Just pick Rocket, and I promise you, pick Rocket, pick Penny, and I promise you, you get out of those ranks. But once you get into gold, I believe that's when ranks and met and like balance that's the matter. And people saying balance doesn't and like saying balance doesn't matter in like diamond or plat. I don't think that's true. I think it matters. I highly think it matters because again, if BP was good enough, or if Daredevil or if Spider Man was good enough to be played in pro, they would be obscene. They would be obscene in my ranks. And what you get is players that shouldn't be in Celestial, one tricks that shouldn't be in Celestial, zoom into Celestial. And that makes no sense. That's not the game. That's not the way the game should work. That's not the way the game should work. It should be that a character is good enough to get you to Celestial, right? It should be that a character is good enough to get you to Celestial 3, but they don't. They're not. They're not. You can't rely on being good at the character to get to one above all. Does that make sense? Like you can't rely on being good at Rocket. You can't rely on being good at Spider-Man, on being good at DD, on being good at Squirrel Girl to get to one above all. You shouldn't be able to rely on that. Any player that is good at those characters in one above all is probably good at like 50 other characters. Trust me, right? You don't have a one trick Spider-Man in one above all. You get what I'm saying? So to my understanding, that's what the balance should be, right? You should be that a character is good enough to get you to Celestial, right? If you truly locked in and got good enough at it, you should be able to get it to Celestial. Like you have the mechanical skill for the character, whatever. But for you to get to one above all, that's why there's no how would I put it? That's why there's no roll queue in this game. It's because when you get to Celestial, the expectation from there is that you are able to play everything else to be at one above all, eternity, whatever. Right? You are able to play anything else to be that good. Right? So I don't see the problem, right? I mean, I've been screaming at my mic, but I don't see the problem as a player in Diamond One, as a player in Diamond One, as a player that has been GM previously. I don't see the problem. Okay, I'm sorry, but I don't. I it baffles me that people complain about the balance of this game. Because what do you mean? What do you want? What do you want? Do you really want Squirrel Girl to be good enough to be played improperly? Huh? Do you really want Magic, who has been played in pro play, right? By the way, to get buffs? Really? Are we serious right now? Like, I mean, I mean, it's whatever, man. Like, that's the dream for you, sure, whatever. But I think that the higher the skill level of the character, which is mostly skill level, mostly translates in your mechanical skill. The higher you have a good mechanical skill, the more the higher like the potential of the character, right? The character should be then good enough to be one above all. There's no way in any world where Black Panther should be good enough to be played in one above all. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you're a pro player, like, I'm sorry. It's just there's no way in any world where Black Panther, where Magic, Spider-Man is a tricky one because Spider-Man's actually good. Like, you have to be insanely good at Spider-Man to even get to one above all on Spider-Man because he's a very difficult player character to play. I've tried to play Spider-Man. The mask is just not for me, right? And I think if Spider-Man was a dive character that was genuinely good enough to carry you through to one above all, like as an average player, I think I wouldn't be mad at it, right? I wouldn't be mad at it because it's a very difficult character to play. to be honest. Like to play and to play well, I think Spider-Man is probably the most difficult character in the game. I'm not joking. Like, especially on console, right? I'm not joking. So that's what I think. And I know pro players will hear that and go very stupid, but that's what I think. I genuinely think Spider-Man is a very difficult character to play. So if Spider-Man was that good, I probably wouldn't have a problem, right? But BP Magic, it, um, what's the name of these guys? Blade, um, Black Cat. No, no way, man. No way. Like it should be good enough to get you to maybe Celestial 3, but if you want to climb above that, it shouldn't be better than that. And the reason I say this, I've said this before, is very simple. Because as soon as the character is good enough to be in OAA lobbies and to be in pro lobbies, that means that I can absolutely get rolled by an average player on that character. And I'm not having that. Okay, I'm not having that. Right? I'm not going to log into this game and get full swiped by a BP and just go right. I'm not, I'm not rocking with that. I'm not rocking with that idea at all. And I think the devs know this. The devs know that this is the general sentiment for 90% of the player base. And I think they've done a good job in balancing the game because for me, it feels balanced, right? It feels balanced. I don't know what to tell you. And I don't know if there are many Diamond players who would agree with me or disagree with me. I would like to know if you're like a Diamond or GM player who was listening to my thoughts. I'd like to know if you agree with his thoughts. I think I've gone on for too long now. I shouldn't be ranting for so long about whatever. Um, but I think I've said a lot, and maybe I should try and put it into context, into a summary. So one, um, the dive characters in this game have been designed too simple. In the essence that if they were good enough to be played in pro play, they would make the average player Thanos in Diamond GM lobbies, right? And so making them good enough to be played in pro play doesn't make sense. That's one. Okay. Two, I do not agree with the sentiment that we've had the same characters as meta in pro play. I just don't. Luna Loki, um Luna Loki Gambit, Luna Rocket, in Cloak, Loki. These are all different supports that have been what they call it, meta. White Fox has been meta. White Fox Invis has been meta. What do you want? Like they've been meta, right? This is basically the entire support route has been the entire support category has been meta. Mantis is still meta. Mantis is meta. Um, um, Adam Warlock has been meta. Ultron has been meta. What do you want from the devs? What do you want? The DPS side, I agree. A lot of the DPS haven't been meta, but like again, the dive DPS are designed way too simple that if they were meta, they would crush average Diamond GM lobbies, and that's why they are not meta. So, but I would say that within the characters that have been meta, there have been different, characters to be meta. Elsa, different character. Elsa, Bucky, Punisher, Torch, Storm. I will still say Storm and Moon Knight have been meta, even though it's only situationally used. I believe that's still meta. So yes, they've been meta. Iron Man has been meta. In the beginning of the game, Iron Man was one of the best DPS in the game. What else has been meta? What's his name? Hawkeye has been meta. Ella has been better. I know most of these guys are poke it scan characters, yes. But again, the core issue is that dive characters are designed too simple for them to be hard meta in pro lobbies, because then they would ruin the experience for all of us average guys. Okay. And since average guys are currently the one that makes this game more money, um, you're just gonna have to suck it, bro. I don't know what to say to you. What else? Tank meta. Basically all tank have been sort of meta. Penny has gotten play recently, situationally, but she's gotten play. Um, Pro players played Orc Thor last season or last 2 seasons. I remember watching cards playing Thor, and I'm playing Orc, and I'm like, nerf this guy, right? That's the thing. Like, pro players will make any character feel cracked. So I don't know what your issue is. And again, I would state again what Trust Me said. And he said this to you, by the way. I don't know why you wouldn't listen to it. He said that it doesn't matter what the meta is, because pros create the meta, and he will play whatever is strong. And that's what it should be like for OAA lobbies, is because you're good enough to play everything. So you play whatever is strong. But for most of us, we're not good enough to play everything, right? So we play what's fun. And I want it to continue to be like that. I want it to be that I play for fun and you play what you define the meta. That is your job. Define what is good and play it and win money from it, right? Do that and don't stress me out, bro. Don't just stress me out. um, um, I would say that on the point of double bans, like please, Netties, we don't like double bans. Nobody likes double bans. Like, get it out of the game. But I understand again from Flat's viewpoint, where he says that, of course the devs know that people might not want it, but if they take it out, it could change the fundamental nature of the game in a way, which is true. Which is true. So yes, I would, I agree to some extent. To some extent, of course. Um, yes, please take double bans. Do not add roll queue to the game. Maybe if there's roll queue to the game, and and you're gold, and you're like a gold player playing support, and you're a diamond player in DPS, and you're a tank player, and you're a GM player as a tank. Maybe it helps you understand better, like, why certain characters are like what in different ranks, and why the game is balanced as it is. You know, maybe it helps you understand that better. I think it would. So, but I would still like the general comp, the free roll comp to be available, and like your rank in that comp is different from your rank in the roll queue comp. So you could be, like I said, gold support, diamond DPS, GM celestial, GM tank, but then you could be a celestial player in your usual, like, overall comp game mode, right? And I think that would make sense, because then when you get into a game, it wouldn't make sense for players not to swap into something else, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, you'd swap into support if your team needs support in that setting, right? Because you know that, okay, this is my swap feeling ranked, right? You know, I think that makes sense. I think maybe that could be added to the game for those who want role queue. But then, is their player base large enough um to split the player base into so many different rank modes? That's also something to think about. I don't think there is. So for now, probably leave it as open queue, I think. Um, so nobody wants double bans. Roll queue, debatable. Um, what else? Is the game balanced? I repeat, for about 90% of the players, the game's completely balanced. And if you're complaining, I don't understand you. I do not want to see a future where the game is balanced around pro play, because it just takes the fun out of the game. And the game has repeatedly spoken about, this is a fun game. This is not about being competitive. The character needs to be fun first before we make them, like, before we figure out how they're balanced. We want it to be fun first, right? This is exactly what they've said about their philosophy and balancing the game. And I want it like that. And there are people who might not want it like that, like Fat was saying, it's subjective, right? And there's probably people who are going to watch this video and think that I'm saying balls. Sure, but I just wanted to make this video because every time I go on the internet and there's people talking about this, it's like it's always Celestial and OAA players making the conversation. Let's talk about the mid ranks, right? Let's talk about GM. Like, I want to hear, if you're a GM player and you come across this video, tell me, do you think the game is not balanced? Do you think Marvel Rivals is not balanced? Because I as a Diamond player, Diamond 1, pretty close to GM, I think it is. And I'd like to know why you don't. Like, as a GM player, not as a Celestial player or a OAA player. Like, I get you guys, but suck it. Like, I'm talking about, people closer to me, right? From GM down to gold. Please tell me. And again, I'm not trying to belittle players who are in silver and bronze. I just think that the game is already set up in a way where you can play any character up to Celestial. And that's the point of it, right? And to me, that's what balance should be. And then everybody else above that are just cracked. Like, you can make any character look like a god tier character. When Cat, again, I keep repeating this, when Cat plays Orc, he looks like God. Yet, many people would put Orc in B or A tier, not even S, or definitely not best in role, right? But when Cat plays Orc, I'm scared. Like, it looks like the freaking Orc. So, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, should then an average player be allowed to play Cats, to play Orc the way Cat plays Orc? Should an average player in Diamond come into my lobby and run me down the way Cat runs down pro players? Right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense. What do you mean? The game is balanced, please. This entire balance talk makes no sense. Not to me, anyways.